Ned Sheets stood at the viewport of the Aquilans High Council chamber, watching the massive fish tank ships drift ponderously through the planet's orbit. 5 years had passed since the Ether conflict, and while the alliance between humans and Aquilans had never been stronger, Ned couldn't shake the feeling that something was holding their squid-like friends back. "Honored Council," he began, turning to face the assembled Aquilans leaders, "I've called this meeting to propose a joint shipbuilding project between our peoples." War Sage Vortax's tendrils rippled with interest. "Explain, Ned Sheets. Your ideas have served us well in the past." Ned activated a holographic display. "These are your current ships," he said, showing a schematic of the enormous water-filled vessels. "And this," he continued, bringing up an image of a sleek human craft, "is what I believe we can build together." The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of bubbling sounds and flashing colors, the Aquilans equivalent of excited chatter. But Ned Xylo Axe, now an elder himself, interjected, "Our people need water to survive. How can such a small vessel sustain us?" Ned smiled. "The same way my suits allowed you to explore dry land. We scale up the technology, create modular water-filled sections while maintaining the efficiency and maneuverability of human designs." As Ned laid out his vision, he remembered the moment this idea had struck him. It was during a routine trade negotiation, watching an Aquilans ship take nearly an hour to dock due to its unwieldy size. There has to be a better way, he had thought. The council deliberated, their colors shifting in complex patterns. Finally, High Elder Jean Raw spoke. "Your proposal has merit, Ned Sheets, but such an undertaking will require more than just your expertise. We would need a team of human engineers." Ned nodded, barely containing his excitement. "I've already spoken with Earth. They're prepared to send our best and brightest to assist." 2 weeks later, Ned stood at the spaceport, watching a human shuttle descend. As the team of engineers disembarked, he felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. This was going to be a challenge unlike any they'd faced before. Dr. Amelia Chang, the team lead, approached with a wide grin. "Ned Sheets, as I live and breathe. I can't believe I'm shaking hands with the guy who revolutionized xenoengineering." Ned felt himself blush. Even after all this time, he wasn't used to the admiration. "Welcome to Aquilans Prime, Dr. Chang. We've got our work cut out for us." The first few weeks were a whirlwind of activity and cultural clashes. The human engineers, brilliant as they were, struggled to understand Aquilans needs and customs. More than once, Ned had to mediate disputes over everything from design philosophies to the proper way to address Aquilans elders. "No, Dr. Yoshida," Ned found himself explaining one day, "that's not a waste disposal unit. It's a ceremonial water purifier, very sacred to the Aquilans." Despite the hurdles, progress was made. Designs were drawn up, prototypes were built and tested, and slowly but surely, a new vision of Aquilans space travel began to take shape. It all led to this moment. The entire project team, human and Aquilans alike, gathered at the spaceport. On the horizon, a glint of metal appeared, growing larger by the second. "There it is," Ned said softly. "Our template, the future of Aquilans space exploration." The human vessel, christened Horizon Breaker, descended with a grace that belied its size. As it touched down, Ned could hear the astonished murmurs of the Aquilans observers. It was barely a tenth the size of their smallest ships, yet promised to carry just as many passengers and cargo. As the dust settled, Ned turned to address the crowd. "Friends, colleagues, honored Aquilans hosts. Today marks the beginning of a new era. Together, we will take the best of both our worlds and create something truly revolutionary." He gestured towards the sleek human ship. "The Horizon Breaker will serve as our guide, but what we create will be uniquely Aquilans. It will honor your traditions while embracing new possibilities." As Ned spoke, he caught sight of Xylo Axe in the crowd. His old friend's colors were shifting rapidly, a sign of deep emotion. Ned realized that for the Aquilans, this wasn't just about new technology. It was about transformation, about taking their rightful place among the stars without compromising who they were. The speech concluded, and teams began to swarm over the Horizon Breaker, eager to begin their work. Ned stood back, watching the controlled chaos with a sense of pride and purpose. A young Aquilan engineer approached him, her colors bright with excitement. "Ned Sheets," she burbled, "do you really think we can do this? Create ships that will let us travel the stars like the humans do?" Ned smiled, placing a hand on the cool metal of the horizon breaker. "I don't think," he said, his eyes twinkling with the promise of adventures to come. "I know we can. And trust me, the universe won't know what hit it when we're done." As the twin suns of Aquilus Prime set, casting an ethereal glow over the spaceport, Ned Sheets, once a simple clerk, now a bridge between worlds, felt the familiar tingle of a new challenge. The Aquilan Renaissance had begun, and he was right where he belonged, at the heart of the action, ready to tinker with the very fabric of interstellar society. The Aquilan sun rose over a transformed spaceport, where once the massive fish tank ships dominated the skyline. Now the sleek form of the horizon breaker took center stage. Scaffolding surrounded the human vessel, with teams of Aquilan and human engineers swarming over it like industrious ants. Ned Sheets stood at the center of the controlled chaos, his hair grayer but his eyes still bright with enthusiasm. "All right, people," he called out, "today we start the real work. Let's show the universe what human-Aquilan cooperation can achieve." As the teams dispersed to their stations, Dr. Amelia Chang approached Ned with a concerned look. "Ned, we've hit a snag with the water circulation systems. The Aquilan requirements are, well, they're not playing nice with our life support designs." Ned nodded, unsurprised. "I figured we'd run into something like this. Let's head to the main engineering bay and take a look." Inside the ship, Ned marveled at the transformation already underway. Entire sections had been reconfigured, with transparent tubes running along the corridors, the beginnings of the Aquilan-specific systems. In the engineering bay, Ned and Amelia huddled with a team of Aquilan engineers. Xyloax, now serving as the chief Aquilan liaison, joined them. "The issue," one Aquilan engineer explained, her colors shifting in frustration, "is that our biology requires a specific mineral content in the water. But maintaining that balance is causing corrosion in the human-designed conduits." Ned scratched his chin, his mind racing. "What if we—" "No, that wouldn't." "Wait a second," he turned to Xyloax. "Remember those deep-sea vents we explored on your southern ocean? The ones with the extremophile bacteria?" Xyloax's tentacles wiggled in affirmation. "The thermal oases? What about them?" "Those bacteria," Ned explained, excitement building in his voice, "they thrived in mineral-rich water without corroding the surrounding rock. What if we engineered a biofilm based on their properties to line our conduits?" The team erupted in a flurry of discussion, colors flashing and voices overlapping. Amelia grinned at Ned. "And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why he's the legendary Ned Sheets." As the weeks passed, progress was made, but not without its share of challenges. Ned found himself not just solving technical problems, but navigating increasingly choppy political waters. "Absolutely not," Elder Vortax's voice boomed through the council chamber. "These changes go too far. You're not adapting a human ship, you're erasing our cultural identity." Ned stood his ground before the assembled Aquilan leadership. "Elder Vortax, with all due respect, we're not erasing anything, we're evolving. The essence of Aquilan design is still there, we're just streamlining it." "Streamlining?" Vortax scoffed. "You mean humanizing? This project was a mistake. We should return to our traditional designs." The debate raged on, with Ned carefully balancing diplomacy and determination. In the end, a compromise was reached. Certain aesthetic elements of traditional Aquilan ships would be incorporated into the new design. Returning to the project site, Ned felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He'd started this project to help the Aquilans, but now he feared he might be driving a wedge into their society. His brooding was interrupted by an alarm blaring across the spaceport. Racing to the control center, he found barely controlled pandemonium. "What's happening?" he demanded. Amelia, her face pale, turned to him. "It's the new propulsion system. Something's gone wrong during the test. The energy readings are off the charts." Ned's mind raced. The propulsion system, a hybrid of human antimatter technology and Aquilan gravitic manipulators, was the heart of the new ship design. If it failed, evacuate the area, he ordered. "I'm going in." Despite protests, Ned made his way to the engine room. The air crackled with energy, and warning lights flashed everywhere. At the center, the core of the engine pulsed with an unstable light. As Ned approached the control panel, he felt a presence beside him. It was Xyloax. "You didn't think I'd let you face this alone, did you?" the Aquilans said, his colors a mix of determination and fear. Together, Human and Aquilan worked feverishly, their movements a dance of desperate innovation. Ned's hands flew over the controls, making adjustments on the fly, while Xyloax used his natural Aquilan abilities to manipulate the gravitic fields. Just when it seemed hopeless, Ned had an epiphany. "It's not about controlling the reaction," he muttered. "It's about guiding it, like water through a canal." With a final risky adjustment, the energy stabilized. The pulsing core settled into a steady, harmonious glow. As the all-clear sounded, Ned slumped against the wall, exhausted but exhilarated. Xyloax's tentacles were a blur of relieved colors. "You did it again," Ned Sheets' Xyloax said softly. Ned shook his head. "No, my friend. We did it. Human innovation and Aquilan wisdom, working in harmony. That's what this project is really about." As they made their way back to the cheering crowds, Ned's mind was already racing with new ideas. The near disaster had shown him something profound. The key wasn't to simply adapt human technology to Aquilan needs, but to create something entirely new, born from the strengths of both species. Looking up at the transformed Horizon Breaker, its hull now shimmering with Aquilan bioluminescent patterns, Ned felt a renewed sense of purpose. They weren't just building a ship, they were forging the future of interstellar cooperation. "All right, everyone," he called out, his voice carrying the weight of newfound inspiration. "Let's get back to work. We've got a renaissance to launch." As the teams returned to their stations with renewed vigor, Ned couldn't help but smile. The greatest adventure, he realized, wasn't exploring new worlds, it was bringing different worlds together. The day of the grand unveiling had arrived. A palpable excitement filled the air as crowds of Aquilans and humans gathered at the spaceport. The transformed Horizon Breaker stood proudly on the launch pad, its hull a mesmerizing blend of sleek human design and bioluminescent Aquilan artistry. Ned Sheets stood at the podium, flanked by Aquilan elders and human dignitaries. As he prepared to speak, he caught sight of Elder Vortax in the crowd, the conservative leader's colors muted but not entirely hostile. "Friends, colleagues, honored guests," Ned began, his voice carrying across the hushed assembly. "Today we christen not just a new ship, but a new era of cooperation and exploration." He gestured towards the vessel. "I present to you the tidal Horizon." The crowd erupted in cheers as the ship's new name was revealed in both human letters and Aquilan bioluminescent script along its hull. As the ceremony continued, Ned couldn't help but feel a twinge of anxiety. The real test was yet to come, the maiden voyage to establish new trade routes with a potential alien partner. The joint human Aquilan crew boarded the ship, a mix of excitement and nervousness evident on every face and in every color pattern. Ned, as the project lead, would be joining them for this historic journey. Just as the final pre-launch checks were being completed, alarms blared across the control room. "What now?" Ned muttered, rushing to the main console. Amelia's face appeared on the screen, her expression grim. "Ned, we've detected unauthorized access to the ship's systems. Someone's trying to sabotage the launch." Ned's mind raced. The conservative faction. But why now, after all the progress they'd made? "Can you stop it?" he asked urgently. Amelia shook her head. "Not from here. The access is coming from inside the ship." Without hesitation, Ned grabbed a tablet and dove into the ship's code. His fingers flew across the screen, countering the saboteur's moves, a digital chess game with the fate of two species cooperation hanging in the balance. "There," he exclaimed, isolating the source. "Engineering Bay 3. Security teams rushed to the location, only to find a young Aquilan engineer, his colors a swirl of shame and defiance. "Why?" Ned asked, approaching the would-be saboteur. "Because," the young Aquilan replied, "I feared we were losing ourselves. Becoming. too human. Ned placed a hand on the Aquilan's shoulder. "Look around you," he said softly. "This ship isn't human or Aquilan. It's something new, something better. It's the future we're building together." After a tense moment, the young engineer's colors shifted to acceptance. The crisis averted, the launch proceeded. As the tidal horizon broke free of Aquilus Prime's gravity, the crew watched in awe as their homeworld receded into the distance. The ship moved with a grace that belied its size, the hybrid systems working in perfect harmony. Their first stop was a newly discovered world on the fringes of known space. As they approached, Ned marveled at how smoothly the ship transitioned from spaceflight to atmospheric entry. The alien representatives, a species of crystalline beings, were visibly impressed by the tidal horizon's unique design. Trade negotiations proceeded with unprecedented ease, the ship itself serving as a testament to the innovation and adaptability of both humans and Aquilans. But the true test came on the return journey. As they navigated a treacherous asteroid field, the ship encountered a spatial anomaly unlike anything they'd seen before. Energy tendrils lashed out, threatening to tear the tidal horizon apart. "Conventional shields are failing," an Aquilan officer reported, her colors flashing in alarm. Ned's mind raced. "The water tanks," he exclaimed. "Xylo-Ax, can you use the gravitic manipulators to create a hydro shield around the shield?" Understanding dawned in Xylo-Ax's eyes. With a series of rapid commands, the Aquilan rerouted power to the water circulation systems. Outside, a shimmering bubble of water enveloped the ship, dispersing the energy attacks. Now Ned called out, "Full power to the bioelectric propulsion array." The tidal horizon surged forward, its unique systems working in perfect sync. Human ingenuity and Aquilan biology combined to create a defense the anomaly couldn't penetrate. As they burst free of the anomaly's reach, the bridge erupted in cheers. Humans and Aquilans embraced, their jubilation transcending species boundaries. Weeks later, back on Aquilus Prime, Ned stood before the Aquilan High Council once more. But this time, Elder Vortax stood beside him. Honored Council Vortax began, his colors humble yet proud. "I was wrong to doubt this endeavor. The tidal horizon has proven that we need not fear change, but embrace it. I move that we commence full production of the new fleet immediately." The vote was unanimous. As the council chambers emptied, Ned found himself alone with Xylo-Ax. "Well, old friend," Xylo-Ax bubbled, "it seems you've started another revolution. What's next for the great Ned Sheets?" Ned gazed out at the spaceport, where crews were already preparing for the construction of more hybrid ships. In the distance, he could see the silhouettes of the old fish tank ships, a reminder of how far they'd come. "You know," Ned said, a familiar glint in his eye, "I've been thinking about faster-than-light travel. What if we combined Aquilan pressure manipulation with human quantum entanglement theories?" Xylo-Ax's colors swirled with laughter. "Always tinkering, aren't you? Well, lead on, Ned Sheets. The universe awaits." As they walked together towards the bustling shipyards, Ned reflected on the journey that had brought him here. From a bored clerk to a hero of two species, to an architect of interstellar cooperation. Yet at his core, he was still that same guy who just liked to solve problems, to tinker with the impossible until it became possible. The Aquilan Renaissance was in full swing, and Ned Sheets was right where he belonged at the forefront of innovation, ready to tackle whatever challenges the vast, mysterious universe might throw their way. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.